This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, good morning. I hope you are able to hear me.
Yes,
Perfect.
Yes, Bhaskar.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so this is Bhaskar. I have 13 plus years of IT experience and I'm working for one of the Indian based company from Hyderabad. And this is briefly about me. Before starting Microsoft Power BI, do you have any idea about business intelligence? So where exactly we can use the business intelligence? How do you know to go for Power BI? So did you get it from someone else or from your friends or from colleagues or how did you know about this Microsoft Power BI? Can anyone give the answer for that?
friends.
Yeah, you can unmute and talk. So what
Yeah,
do you know about Power BI?
Power BI is one type of business intelligence where we will create the reports, dashboards, everything
Okay. So how do you know about Power BI?
through friends and through friends we know.
Okay. So did you get a chance to what was the latest drastical change happened in Power BI recently?
No,
Any
Bhaskar.
idea?
No,
Okay,
no.
fine. Anyone else having any idea? There was some drastical change happened recently in Power BI. Did you get that from your friends or someone else?
No,
Okay,
Bhaskar.
okay, then fine. I'll take you through them more in details. Okay, so before starting this, like where exactly we can use this Power BI that we need to understand. Then I'm going to take you through the agenda of today's session so that you can understand. Let's say if you're running a business, if I wanted to get some insights on top of your business, then we need to have a visualizations. Whatever the business you're running, the data is going to store somewhere else. Okay, some storage. For every business, they need to have a storage to store the transaction data. If you make an order in Amazon, they will collect all the transaction details. The order details we can say. So once the order is placed, those details are going to be stored in their system. And once the data is stored, then we need to get the insights on top of it. Why they need a insights? If they wanted to know which product is getting more revenue or which location is having more or less revenue, how exponentially we are increasing the growth in the business. If they wanted to compare by month or location by location, then they need to have a information. So that information we are going to get with the help of Microsoft Power BI. So Microsoft Power BI is used to transform your business data into information. So information will be useful for doing business decisions, or they're going to help us to take the business decisions to grow in the business. If you wanted to decommission any of the product from the sales, if you have a proper information, then you can do it. Otherwise, you're going to keep on keeping in the production, then it's going to lead loss of the product. So loss of the business. So to avoid this, we need to have information. So who is going to give the information here is, we can get the information with the help of business intelligence. So Microsoft Power BI is one of the topmost BI tool in the market at this point of time. So I'm keeping everyone in mute. Yeah. So what was the change recently happened? Maybe if you're like the 3 months back or 6 months back, there was a little down in the Microsoft Power BI, not only in Power BI, in other even when you go for any kind of tool, there is a downgrade in the IT field, right? Okay, so that is what it happened. But recently there is a drastic change happened for Microsoft Power BI. So they came up with the Microsoft Fabric that will be used for even Power BI. So that change also I'm going to take you through as part of this course, so that you'll be having more in demand at this point of time. That is in a public review. Very soon it is going to be generally available. So that's fine. So I'm going to take you through the agenda. And if I wanted to transform the data into information, first you need to have a plan. What is your plan? Depends on the plan, you have to prepare the data. So who is going to do this plan? The BI architects are going to participate as part of this plan. We are not going to be part of the plan. Once we receive the plan, then we are going to start understanding the plan. So what kind of data they wanted to see, or what level of data they're expecting, what kind of calculations we're having, what are the data points, all those things that we are going to do. But the plan has been done by the stakeholders, business analysts, and architects. So that is what it is going to be done. And something like this, I'm just going to show you the plan here. Let me show you here. So there are different ways are there to get the markups. So this is like a markup. Okay, so our in-cell template, we can say the template, we can call it as a markup. They may give it in a drawing or they may give it in an Excel also. So depends on the companies or depends on the person that they're going to give a template to you. How they wanted to see their business data, they're just going to give a template or we can say markup, and depends on it, we are going to start doing it. Once you have a plan, something like this, either it is in Excel or either it is in a Paint or anything it is. So when you see that, you can feel that is a requirement. You can, when you see that, and it's not only just drawing, for every field, there will be definition in the requirement document. So who is going to maintain the, who is going to prepare the requirement document is, again, it's a business analyst is going to be taken care. That's not going to be part of us. That's fine. For every field, there will be a definition, there will be a description for that. And once you have a plan in your hand, what you're going to do is, you're going to start doing the analysis. What does it mean? Analysis is what is available and what is not available. And you have to identify where exactly this particular field is available. Or the very starting that you need to understand, what is my data source? What is my data source? Your data source may be SQL Server, your data source may be Oracle, your data source may be Snowflake, or anything it is. Now, maybe if you're aware of it, now we have a data lake, or data lake, or delta lake, or one lake. These are the new terms that recently introduced by Microsoft for Power BI. Okay, so what is your data source? You need to identify as part of this analysis. It's not just like identifying the data source. You have to identify what are the columns available, what are the columns not available. If it is not available, then you need to think, you need to understand the logic or the business logic of that particular columns. If it is not available, go and check with the business analyst, go and check with the business. So what is the definition? We have to define few of the columns. So minimum 20% of the calculations we are going to define that they're not going to come from the data source directly. So this is also is part of our activity. So analysis is the process of identifying data sources, or we can say data points. Once you have identified the data points, then you can estimate how much time it is going to take to develop. You can give a timelines. Okay, so even if you're having less experience, that's fine. You can give approximate estimated time for doing development. Once you have done the analysis, then you're going to start doing the development. In order to do the plan, we don't require any software. In order to do the analysis, we don't require anything. But in order to go for development, we need to have a software. So Microsoft Power BI is giving a tool called Microsoft Power BI Desktop. So Power BI Desktop, we need to use it. It's a Windows-based application. It's a Windows-based application. We are going to see how we can do installation, how we can do setup, everything we are going to take care about it. Worry about it. So Power BI Desktop will be used to do the 100% of the development. So we need to talk about this. What is this Power BI Desktop? Okay, so before talking about this Power BI Desktop, let's go here. I wanted to take you through the agenda of this. So we have seen introduction to business intelligence. It's a process of transforming your business data into information with the help of various visualizations. So in order to do that, we have a development phase. When you go for development, we are going to use a component called Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop is having three things. One is Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power View. We'll talk about all this more in detail. Apart from this Power BI Desktop, there is a Power BI Report Builder also. This Power BI Report Builder is specifically designed for paginated reports. Paginated reports, not for dashboards. If you wanted to go for dashboards, we are going to use Power BI Desktop. 90% we are going to use this, but 10% there is a chances to use it. I'll take you through this also as part of the course so that you'll be having better idea about it when they have a requirement to use both reports together. We have a requirement to combine Power BI Desktop reports and Power BI Report Builder reports also. So I mean to say paginated reports also. So how we can do it? We're going to say. So once you have done the development, we need to know about run and maintenance. So we have a Power BI service to go for run and maintenance. This is the place where we are going to see many things that newly changes happened in the Microsoft recently. In the Power BI service, we are going to come across it. So Power BI mobile apps, that means you can access the reports or dashboards from the mobile so that you can take a decisions even while traveling. There are many advantages that we're having it. We're going to talk about Power BI Data Gateway to get the latest data on periodical refresh or on-demand refresh or real-time data. So how we are going to do it, that we are going to see. And Power BI apps is very important. I told you, right? We have a report with Power BI Desktop. We have a report with Power BI Report Builder. But user does not know whether we build it with Power BI Desktop or we build with the Power BI Report Builder. He can see one app. This app is going to take something from here and something from here, and they can view as a one app. So I'll take you through that, how we are going to handle such kind of things. And finally, we are going to have a Q&A session. You can ask a question, and I'm just going to take you through how it is going to be there. As I said, if I wanted to go for development, if I wanted to do the development of my plan, if I wanted to keep the actual execution plan. So actual execution plan is development. So to go for development, 100% is we have to use Power BI Desktop. So Power BI Desktop is used to do the 100% of the development in many projects. In few projects, I can say 90%. Then what about 10%? That report builder is there, right? That is going to be happening. So in order to implement it, you need to extract the data. You need to extract the data from the various data sources. The process of taking data from any of these data sources, we can call it as extraction. We are pulling data from the various data sources. So who is going to pull? This Power BI Desktop is a tool which is having three components, as I said. Power Query is there, Power Pivot is there, and Power View is there. All three together, we can say it is a Power BI Desktop. So Power Query was embedded in the Power BI Desktop. The name itself saying that we are querying the data from the data source. That may be SQL Server, that may be OData Feed, that may be Power BI data sets, or now even one lake we are having presently. So different kind of changes happen. So the process of taking data from the various data sources, we can call it as extraction. So that extraction is going to be done by Power BI Power Query. So Power Query is used to extract the data. Right after extracting, when you extract the data from here is when you extract the data into Power BI desktop, that means the data is a raw data. The data is a raw data. How can you say that is a raw data? Let's say, for example, I have a data at the date level. In my data source, I have a data at the date level. That means the granularity of the storage is a date level. But my report is expecting to show the sales by month. Something like this. So here it is the sales in the y-axis. The x-axis, I'm just going to show month. Just imagine. If this is the case, then the granularity of the showing in the report is different. Higher granularity it is. The leaf is the down of this month is what? Date. So if we can show for 1 year, let's say 2023, if you're showing data for this visual, just imagine daily one transaction. If you have a daily one transaction, approximately 360 records you're going to have it. But if you come and show this in a visual, there should be only 12 records because 12 months. So the granularity is getting changed. So that is what we are going to do the transformation. So if the level of data is different, if the columns are not coming directly from the data source, if data is zigzag, definitely we need to apply transformation. If data is coming from more than one data source, you need to combine them, you need to join them. So to join is always one of the transformation. So we have a different kind of transformations to do as part of this without writing a code. We don't require to write a code. We don't require to write a code. We can use just clicks. By using just clicks, we can do the transformation here. So once we have done the transformation, then we are going to feed the data into Power BI. So where exactly this Power BI is going to be there is in the Power BI desktop again. We are going to store the data within the Power BI desktop. We can take the data from outside. Till 3 months prior, we used to store the data within the Power BI. But now we have a situation to store outside also. We can take the data from outside, we can store the data outside also. Okay, so that I'll talk about it later. So at this point of time, I just wanted to store the data into Power BI. So what we can do as part of this Power Pivot is the process of feeding into this particular place. We can call it as a load. When you combine all three together, we can say it is a ETL processing. So this is equivalent to ETL. If you have experience with transformation, Informatica, SSIS, any ETL tool if you have, then understanding the concept is very simple. But way of doing is in traditional is completely different when you compare with Power BI. Power BI is very, very, very easy. So while going through the session, then you can feel how simple it is. So once data is loaded into Power Pivot, then we are going to do analysis here. Here we are going to save the data. And here we are going to do the analysis. Why we need to go for analysis? This Power Query is going to be happen for table by table. But here we need to bring all together and we need to make a modeling. So in order to model, we need to talk about star schema and snowflake schema. We'll talk about all those things. So in order to do the better analysis, you need to have a better model. If you have a control and the modeling, if you know how exactly the data is related between dimensions and facts, then you can easily understand when you get any requirement. Right after completion of the modeling, what we are going to do is we are going to do calculations. We are going to do the calculations by using DAX, data analysis expressions. This is the heart of the Power BI. If you're strong enough with the DAX, then you can get good packages also. Everyone can do this Power Query, but few of them only can do in DAX. So strong enough in the DAX. So once that is done, then finally this two parts is related to data preparation. We are doing the data preparation here. On what basis you are going to prepare this data is based on the template, based on the markup you are going to do the data preparation. Once we have done the data preparation, once we have all the data points as per the business requirement, then the third part that we are going to see is a visualization. We need to show in the form of chart. We need to show in the form of chart. So for that, we are going to use Power View. So Power View is going to come up with various visualizations. We have a plenty of visuals for Power BI. So you can take it from the market as a free of cost and paid visuals we're having. Microsoft visuals also we're having. So you can use to explore your business data. Let's say how the visual is going to be there is something like this. So this is the dashboard. This you can understand, but for this one, how data is there, if you see, you cannot understand what it is. So understanding of the data is not possible, but understanding of this visual is easy. Because data is going to be there in the form of rows and columns. In the form of rows and columns, you're going to have it. So to avoid that, we need to have information. The business users can understand the chart. The business users can understand a report or dashboard, but they cannot understand what is this underlying data. So how data is going to be there if you see. So this is the data. So this is the data you cannot understand. You or me cannot understand. But whereas if we can go here, this is readable. This is a dashboard we can say. How we are going to design. How we are going to design. Everything will be taken care by business requirement. So when I hit on it, it is going to show you for ESA data. Okay, if I decrease this, you can see few of the charts are interacting. In the same way, we have a other chart, other page, something like this. So we can see the data however you want. So this is the dashboard. So this will be understandable. But when you go and see the data is not going to be understandable. It's not readable. In order to read the data, we need to show in the form of a report. Only reports only is going to be understandable. Only reports only is going to be understandable. So once you have done the development, we need to make this available for audience. How you are going to make it available? We are going to keep the report in the Power BI service. The process of keeping your Power BI desktop report into Power BI service. So if you observe here, it is coming into this particular place. How this is coming into here? How did we bring that? We are going to say in the regular sessions. So that process we can call it as a publish. We are going to publish the report into Power BI service. Once the report is published, once report is available here, then users or business stakeholders, business users, they can access from the Power BI service. They can access by using browser, they can access by mobile, however they want, they can access it. In order to get the latest data on daily basis, we need to have a data gateway. So this is also very important at the time of working and interview point of view. We are going to say how we can install the data gateway, how we can set up to bring the data from the data sources into Power BI service. That we are going to say it. So this data gateway will be used to have a making a connection between the your underlying data sources with Power BI service. But you cannot get the latest data automatically. You need to go and trigger, go and get the latest data. So in order to do this, we need to talk about data refreshes. We have a different ways to refresh your data sets. We have a on-demand refresh and we have a scheduling refresh. On-demand refresh and scheduling refresh. So when we can go for periodical refresh, when we can go for on-demand, we're going to talk more in detail. When the report is there here, if the users are accessing the report, everyone is not going to have a same level of access. They're going to have a different level of access. If they have a different level of access, then we need to create a roles. Depends on the roles, we need to visualize the data. In order to do this, we are going to create a roles. We are going to create a roles. So once you create a roles, then when the moment you open the report, then definitely they're going to be restricted. So depends on the access, depends on your access level, the data is going to be displayed. This is how it is going to be there. This type of processing, this type of data preparation is one of the way. So here itself we have two different approaches. One is import, and other is direct query. There's two options are there. When you go for import, the report performance will be more. The report performance will be more. And if you go for direct query, the report performance will be less. Why? Because here data is going to be there in the underlying data sources. Here data is going to be there in the Power BI desktop itself. So here one advantage and one limitation. Here one advantage, one limitation. So to avoid this, they came with recently the new approach, that is direct link. So direct link is going to be combined together. I mean to say, whatever the performance you're going to get when you use the import, the same performance you can get with the direct link. So here we are getting a real-time data. Here also we can get a real-time data within the very faster. So because of the different mechanism that recently happened, so that I'm going to take you through as part of this batch. So that is very important. So in the going forward, I'm sure right after 1 year at least, we are going to be using this only. Okay, so how that is going to work, what are the different kind of mechanisms are there, and all those things I'm going to talk about it. This direct query, if you go and use it here, it works for only SQL Server or Oracle. That will not work for text file, that will not work for Excel file, that will not work for any other things. But when you go for this, it is going to work for everything. Directly we can go and take a latest data, real-time data. So that was the new approach. And apart from this too, there is a third one. And previously, this one also is there. Presently, the market is already existed with these two approaches and this approach. but this one is not yet started in the market. At least if we have a knowledge, that will be better for them. So we can also bring the data into a SQL Server analysis services. There is a SSAS. Behind the scene in the Power BI desktop also, you are going to have a SSAS that will be hidden, but here it is going to be visible. So we can bring the data from the different places. We can do the data preparation. We can keep all the calculations at the centralized location. Once you have it, data points in the centralized location, you can just go and create a report. We are not going to preparing the data again. Let's say if you have 100 reports. If you have 100 reports. So definitely for every report, there will be common calculations, few of them, and few of them will be a different kind of calculations. Just imagine the similar kind of calculations if we have, why we need to do that many times. There is a one kind of calculation that is required for all the 100 reports. Then you have to do in all the 100 reports. It's a waste of time. So because of that reason, if we can do that particular calculation at one place, that is going to be available for other places. So that is about this particular thing. We can create a tabular models and we can centralize all the calculations and then we can give it to the report. If they need any calculation, they need to reach out this particular team. You may be part of this team or you may not be part of this team. It all depends on their roles and responsibilities. If you get a chance to work on this kind of situation, yes, that is good. If you work this particular two places, these two places are equivalent to this place. That means the Power Query they brought inside this, the Power Pivot they brought inside this. If you know about this Power BI desktop, working with analysis services is not a difficult. It's 90% similar. Only 10% you feel different, but they are not much difficult. Okay, so keep in mind, if they have a requirement, yes, you can convince them, you can say that. So when you're taking data from here, we are going to have a import connectivity will be there and connect live also will be there. I'll take you through how the live connection we can use. If you have a tablet model, we are going to talk about it. And you can also ask a question about your Power BI. And if you have a data and if you wanted to ask or if you wanted to say something, you can do it. So right after AI, they brought even AI features also here. You just ask how do you want to create a measures. You can also create a measures automatically. Automatically you can create it. There are many things that you can do it very easily now. Okay, so the latest features that they included into Power BI, I'm going to take you through that practically so that you will get better clarity. Okay, so if we can complete the training here, what you can say here is, let me take you through this. The content of this particular course is going to be possible to write PL 300 certification if you want to write it. 95% of this content is going to be covered. On top of this content, the newly added topics like direct lake, one lake, delta lake. Okay, so how we can create a pipelines. That means data flow Gen 2 they introduced. Previously, we used to have a data flows in the Power BI. In the second, recently they released with a different version, that is data flows Gen 2. How exactly we can use as part of this fabric, Microsoft Fabric, that I'm going to take you through. So here we have a data preparation. The data preparation is related to Power Query, how we can bring data from different sources, what kind of storage modes are there, what are the different kind of transformations we are going to use to apply data cleansing operations that we're going to see as part of this. Once the data preparation is done, modeling is important. You need to design the model. So how we can model the data? If you have too many tables, how you can understand? All those things we are going to see practically, and that is 30 to 35% of the questions you're going to get from the model the data from PL300. The DAX also is going to be covered as part of this. And performance tuning, I'm going to take you through at least 2 or 3 use cases to use this performance tuning, how you can improve the performance. The performance tips I'm going to take you through. There is a visualization. We have a 25 to 30% the questions are going to get it from here. So in order to build this kind of dashboards, how you can build it, how you can do the better alignment, that I'm going to take you through. How we can create a dashboards as part of the Power BI service, we are going to see here. How we can use the bookmarks, how we can use the sync slices all together, we are going to see. And right after that, we are going to see a deploy and maintenance. Administration, 20 to 25% we are going to have. How we can manage the files and data sets in the Power BI service. Something like this we are going to have. If we go to the workspaces, we're going to have something like this. So we have a reports and dashboards all together we are having here. What do you want to, if you have a reports, you can see the reports. If you want to go for data sets, how you can do the run and maintenance of this, how you can provide the access. Okay, if there is any failure, how you can sort it out. All those things we are going to talk about it. How we can manage the workspaces also. If you wanted to add any users, how you can add it. So 90% is we are not going to be part of it, but if we know how we can do run and maintenance, definitely they're going to be helpful. So currently I'm working for one of the company. They're not specific to one area. Okay, they're looking for everything. If they give a work for Power BI, you should be ready to work for Power BI. If they give a work for Azure Databricks, you should be ready to work for Azure Databricks. So in 360 degrees, they have to work for data engineering. Okay, so that kind of roles, like if the size of experience is getting increased, then definitely they're going to expect more things. Then only can get a good packages. Okay, and once you see the report looks like something this. You can view it from the desktop. You can view it from the any device, from any operating system, if you have a internet and browser. Okay, so that's all about the introduction of the Microsoft Power BI. And if you have any questions, now you can ask a questions. Any questions, guys? Feel free to ask. Okay, so we are starting a batch from next Monday, day after tomorrow in the morning. So check with Sunday. Sunday will provide the more in details about the fees and all. So we planned for increasing, but for this batch, we are planning to give the new features without pricing. So please utilize that, because that features are very important going forward. Okay, any questions?
No, Bhaskar.
Okay. Anyone else? If you're not having any question, then we'll wrap up it here. We'll see you on Monday. Okay. So thank you for
Thank you,
joining.
Bhaskar.
We'll keep in touch. Thank you very much.
Bhaskar, from Monday onwards, when will start the session?
Morning 8:30 we are planning. We will get
Okay.
back to you again. So 99%
Oh,
it is morning 8:30.
okay. 8:30 to 9:30.
Yes.
Okay.
The
For any
reason is
doubts
I
and
have
everything
it.
remaining, question and
Yeah, you can.
sorry.
You can. The reason why we are
Okay.
keeping it
For-
8:30 is I have a meeting at 8 o'clock, 8 to 9, 8 to
Okay.
8:30. So we
Okay.
postponed it.
Okay. Okay. For me also, I need to go to office.
Okay. So at least we can do it on 4 days at 8:30, and then like I can take at morning. Monday is at 8 o'clock. I can take. Monday I'm not having any meeting, but from Tuesday to Friday 8:30. We'll come up with a plan for that. Okay. Okay, then if you're not having any question, we'll wrap up here. Thank you for joining. We'll see you soon.